This is what President Trump wants us to be talking about. With this signature, as he repeatedly promised during his campaign, he ended plans for a trade agreement involving 12 countries that sit on the Pacific Ocean.
Great thing for the American worker, what we just did.
A deal that had been championed by President Obama and that in part was intended to bind countries that are fearful of China closer to the US. This, though, is what's still grabbing the headlines in the US. Saturday's visit by the president to the CIA, in which, standing in front of a memorial wall in honor of dead intelligence agents, he bragged about the size of the crowd at his inauguration.
But we had a massive field of people. You saw that.
And suggested that everyone at the scrupulously impartial intelligence service had voted for him.
And probably almost everybody in this room voted for me, but
The disastrous appearance was made worse by an angry statement from Press Secretary Sean Spicer, which included a number of clear falsehoods. 2 days on, and Spicer was still refusing to back down, but added this.
I think sometimes we can disagree with the facts. There are certain things that we may not fully understand when we come out, but our intention is never to lie to you.
Reporters pressed him too on Trump's foreign policy, on Syria, an intriguing answer on whether they would work with the Assad regime.
We are going to smartly do this. I mean, let's be clear. Part of it is to make sure that they have America's interest in what they're doing and who they are. So we're not going to get together with people under the guise of defeating ISIS if that's not truly their guise.
On Iraq, he refused to deny an amazing suggestion that the administration might go back into the country to seize its oil.
I'm not going to talk about what we may or may not do. I think the president's been very clear that he doesn't telegraph forward what taking options off the table. That's not a good negotiating skill.
And this to Al Jazeera on Jerusalem.
What is the US strategic interest in moving the US embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem?
There's no decisions. We're at the very early stages of that decision-making process.
In the past, the foreign policy agenda of a US administration has been pretty clear before it comes into office. Not this time. It's still pretty hard to get a coherent picture of what the Trump White House plans to do on the world stage. And for now, their emphasis seems to be on damage limitation after a particularly rocky weekend. James Bays, Al Jazeera, Washington.